My boss is taking me as his date. And you're not getting in the way, Lena said, already checking her lipstick in the little mirror by the door. The kitchen light buzzed. The dishwasher hung open. A single fork sat on the counter, abandoned like the person who'd left it, didn't care. That fork is what I remember. Not her words, not the black dress, the fork. Because it was ordinary. Because ordinary things are what betray you first. I should have argued. She expected that. Noise she could step over. She expected me to be emotional, to be messy, to be easy. I didn't give her any of that. Okay, I replied. Her eyes narrowed. That's it? That's it, I said. She smiled, quick and sharp, like my silence was a win for her. Then she grabbed her purse and left, heels clicking down the steps like a countdown. When the door shut, the house got quiet in a way that felt staged, like someone was holding their breath behind the walls. My laptop chimed with a notification from our shared inbox, one of the boring alerts we used for bills and repairs. Except this one was flagged, bright red, like somebody wanted it remembered. I clicked, and my marriage changed shape. It wasn't one email. It was a trail. Weeks, maybe months, written in the lazy confidence of people who think consequences are for other families. Derek, her boss, called her Elle. He joked about hotel bars, about quiet corners, about how she always knew how to behave. She replied with little hearts like she was 17 and not married. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Then I hit the line that made my jaw lock. My husband will be home. He won't cause problems. I sat still, not stunned, measuring. If I yelled, she'd win. If I begged, she'd win. If I swallowed it, I'd lose. So I did the one thing she couldn't talk her way around. I made a record. She said, "My boss is taking me as his date, and you're not getting in the way." I replied, "Okay." Then I stopped arguing and quietly forwarded one email chain to HR. Later that night, I sent a second message to his wife. By morning, when she saw security. Waiting for him at the office, she froze mid-step, realizing who really made the first move. That's the short version people repeat when they want it to sound simple. It wasn't simple, it was careful. I wrote HR a clean note, no emotion, no threats, just, "This appears to involve a supervisor and a subordinate. Please advise." I attached the full thread and hit send. Then I found Derek's wife's contact in an old charity email signature. I didn't dig. They'd scattered their lives across the page like confetti. I typed one message that mattered. "I think your husband is involved with my wife. I can prove it. I'm not asking for anything. I just think you deserve to know." I hit send and waited for the world to catch up. That night, Lena came home late, smelling like a hotel lobby and somebody else's confidence. "You're still up?" she asked, already halfway up the stairs. "Couldn't sleep," I said. She paused, like she expected a lecture. I gave her none. "Good," she said, relieved. "Don't start something." "I'm not starting anything," I replied. She went upstairs, the floorboards complaining under her heels. I stayed on the couch and listened to the clock tick like a judge's pen. At 9:12 the next morning, Derek's wife called. "This is Megan," she said. Her voice was steady in the way people get when they're trying not to break in public. "I got your message." "I'm sorry," I said. "Don't," she replied. "Just send it." I emailed the chain. No comments, no extra heat. Paper doesn't need heat. 10 minutes later, Lena texted, "What did you do?" I waited. At 9:47, Megan sent a photo. 2 security guards escorting Derek out of his office building. He was still in his suit, still trying to look like he belonged. His face said he didn't. My phone rang right after. "Lena." I answered on the 3rd ring. "You forwarded something," she snapped. Are you insane?" I forwarded what you wrote, I said. You ruined my life. I didn't write the emails, I said. You did. She tried her softer voice next, the one she used with waiters when food came late. Caleb, you're overreacting. You're emotional. I'm reacting once, I said. That's all you're getting. Behind her, I heard office noise, whispers, phones, someone laughing too loud, the soundtrack of a reputation tipping over. She hung up. I went to work like it was any other day. That's the thing about real revenge. It wears a tie and shows up on time. At lunch, Megan texted, "He came home early. He says your wife means nothing." A minute later, "He's lying. I read everything." Then, he left. That night, Lena didn't come home. She texted, "Staying with a friend." I replied, "Okay." No questions. No begging. She'd trained me to chase her. I was unlearning it in real time. My phone buzzed again, later. "Megan, where is he going?" I stared at the screen and realized the city had turned into one small room with 4 people in it. "I don't know," I texted back. But I had a guess. Men like Derek don't go looking for forgiveness first. They go looking for control. The next afternoon, Lena came home for the first time since the walkout. No heels, no humming. Her hair was pulled back tight, like she was trying to keep her thoughts from spilling out. She stood in the doorway and scanned the house, like it might have changed while she was gone. "Are you proud of yourself?" she asked. "You should sit down," I said. She didn't. "You humiliated me." "You humiliated you," I replied. "I sent what you wrote." "It wasn't like that," she insisted. "Explain it," I said, calm. "Explain the hearts. Explain my husband won't cause problems." Her eyes flashed. "You've been boring for years." There it was. Shame, served cold. "Boring," I repeated. "You mean stable." "You mean small," she snapped. "Derek." "Don't say his name like that," I said. She stopped. Fear tried to peek through her anger, then she shoved it back down. She switched tactics. "Look," she said, softer. "We can fix this. I can talk to HR. I can smooth it over. You just stop." "Stop what?" I asked. "Telling the truth?" She stared at me like the word offended her. "You don't get it," she said. "People don't care what's true. They care what looks true." I nodded slowly. "Then you should have been careful what you made look true." Her phone buzzed. She checked it. Her face changed, just for a second. Then she pocketed it. "What?" I asked. "Nothing," she lied. The lie was automatic, a reflex, like breathing. She walked toward the kitchen window and looked out at the street. "Derek said he'd handle it," she said, and there was a wobble in her voice she didn't mean to show. "He said you'd calm down." I couldn't help it. A short laugh escaped me. "He thought I was you," I said. She whipped around. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means he thought I'd fold the way you fold," I said. "He thought he'd scare me into silence." She took a step toward me. "And what if he does?" Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello?" A man's voice, low and tight. "Caleb." I didn't ask how he got my number. "Derek," I said. Lena froze mid-step. "You've made this messy," Derek said. I glanced at Lena. Her eyes were wide, hungry for control, terrified of losing it. "You made it messy first," I said. Derek paused, like he didn't like my tone. "Meet me tonight," he said. "We'll talk like adults." "I'm already talking like an adult," I replied. "You're the one calling me." His voice went colder. "You don't want to do this." I looked at Lena. She was holding her breath. "I already did it," I said. "See you around." I hung up. Lena whispered, "What did he say?" "He wants to talk," I said. Her eyes sharpened. "And you're going?" I stood. "I'm going to listen." She grabbed my arm. "Don't! He'll hurt you." I looked down at her hand. For a second, I almost believed she cared. Then I remembered the fork. I pulled free. "If he hurts me," I said. It won't be the first time a man you chose hurt me. Her face went hard again. You're going to regret this. I nodded. Probably. And that night, I drove downtown to a parking garage that smelled like gasoline and secrets. The garage attached to Derek's tower was one of those concrete caves where sound bounces and light looks sick. The air never feels clean. The cameras watch without caring. I parked 2 levels down and waited. At 10:07, Derek appeared, walking fast, phone pressed to his ear like it could save him. His tie was loosened. His suit jacket looked like it had been grabbed. He saw me and stopped short. "What the hell are you doing here?" he snapped. "You called," I said. He tried the smooth voice next. "Listen, I don't know what she told you, but—" "Don't," I said. One flat word and his confidence flinched. He glanced around, cameras, angles, witnesses. Men like Derek only get brave in private. "This is being handled," he said. HR walked you out," I replied. His jaw twitched. "You're making a mistake. You don't understand how this works." "I do," I said. "You thought silence was your shield." He stepped closer. "Are you threatening me?" "No," I said. "I'm informing you." He laughed, but it came out wrong. "You're a nobody. You think you can damage me?" I looked him up and down. "I forwarded your words. You did the damage." His phone buzzed. He looked down. The name on the screen was Megan. He hit decline so fast it looked like a reflex. I watched him do it. "You're going home," I said. He stared at me. "Or what?" "Or you keep losing things," I replied. Slowly, publicly. His face tightened. "She wanted this," he said, meaning Lena. "She chased me. You used your job like a leash," I said. "Don't insult me with fairy tales." For a moment, I thought he might swing, not because he was brave, because he was embarrassed. He didn't. He stepped back, breathing hard, and his eyes searched for a way to win without getting his hands dirty. "You're going to regret this," he said. I nodded. "Maybe. But you're going to remember it." I turned to leave. Behind me, he said, quieter, "She's going to hate you." I stopped and looked over my shoulder. "She already did," I said. "She just called it love because it sounded nicer." I walked out into cold air that felt cleaner than the garage ever would. On the drive home, Megan texted a photo, Derek's suitcase on their driveway, clothes spilling out, one expensive shoe lying on its side like it had been knocked down. Under the photo, "He's not sleeping here tonight." Then, "He tried to blame her. He said she chased him." Then, "He left his phone on the counter while he showered. I read everything." That line settled in my chest like a weight. I wasn't the only one waking up. When I got home, Lena's car was gone. A text waited on my screen. "We need to meet. Now." I didn't reply. I locked the door, sat at the kitchen table, and listened to the house breathe. The city had moved from rumor to reaction. Next came fallout. By the next morning, the story had legs. It didn't travel like a headline. It traveled like gossip. Quiet, fast, sticky. The kind you can't scrape off even if you apologize. Derek's name disappeared from the company directory. "Leave pending investigation," people said, as if the words were a prayer. Lena was still employed, technically, but her calendar emptied out. Meetings rescheduled. Doors unavailable. The professional version of being iced out. She came home in the afternoon and sat on the couch without turning the TV on. She stared at the blank screen like it might confess. I cooked dinner and ate alone at the table. The fork was back in the drawer. I kept thinking about how something that small had been left out like bait. Lena finally spoke without looking at me. "They're blaming me," she said. I didn't ask who they were. In a small corporate world, they is everyone. "They're acting like I seduced him," she continued. "Like I'm some cliché." "You weren't seduced," I said. "You volunteered. Her head snapped toward me. You think you're above me? No, I said. I think you're beneath honesty. Her eyes flashed. You always talk like you're the victim. I set my fork down. I didn't start it. She laughed, brittle. You don't know what Derek promised me. That sentence was almost tender, almost tragic. What did he promise? I asked. She hesitated, then said it like she hated herself for wanting it, that I wouldn't feel invisible. I stared at her. So you made me invisible instead. Her mouth opened, closed. She looked away. Her phone buzzed, and she flinched. Derek? I asked. She didn't answer. A minute later, she stood and paced, hands in her hair. I need to fix this, she muttered. I need to show up, to prove I'm fine. You're talking about the fundraiser, I said. She stopped pacing. Yes. That's where you plan to be his date, I said. Her face tightened. You don't get to control where I go. I nodded once. You're right. I don't control you. Her shoulders loosened like she thought she'd won. I continued. But I control what I tolerate. She looked at me, confused. I pulled a small envelope from the drawer and set it on the table. She stared at it. What's that? I opened a new bank account, I said. My paycheck goes there now. Her eyes widened. You can't do that. I can, I said. I did. She stepped closer. You're trying to punish me. I'm trying to survive, I replied. Her face twisted. You think money is power? No, I said. Silence is power. You taught me that. She backed away, like my calm scared her more than yelling ever could. That night she slept in the guest room. I slept in our bed. At 2:13 a.m., my phone buzzed. Megan. He showed up at my door. He begged, then he shouted, then he begged again. Then another message. He's not stable. Be careful. I stared at the dark ceiling. Men like Derek don't accept endings. They look for someone to blame, someone to crush, someone to drag back under their thumb. I knew who he'd pick. I just didn't know how soon. Lena didn't just want out of trouble. She wanted her old power back. 2 days after Derek's walkout, she showed up where I worked. Not in the lobby like a normal person. In the parking lot, right when the after-lunch crowd was trickling in, right when there were enough eyes to make it hurt. I saw her before I got out of my car. Black sunglasses, arms crossed, posture stiff like she was about to deliver a speech. I got out anyway and walked toward the entrance. Caleb, she called, loud enough that 3 people turned. I didn't speed up. I didn't slow down. I kept the same pace because pace is a kind of control. She marched to block me. You're not going to ignore me, she said. I looked at her sunglasses. Take those off, I replied. Don't tell me what to do, she snapped. That's the problem, I said. No one does. Her mouth tightened. You're trying to ruin me. I'm trying to stop you, I said. She lowered her voice, but the anger stayed hot. They're treating me like trash. They're acting like I chased him. You did, I said. Her face flushed. You don't know what he promised me. I shrugged. He promised you a role. You played it. She stepped closer. If you don't back off, I'll tell everyone you're stalking me. I'll say you followed me. I'll make them believe it. I glanced around. People were pretending not to watch. They were watching anyway. Say it, I said, calm. She blinked. What? Say it to my face right here, I replied. Say I'm stalking you while you stand in my workplace parking lot following me. Her jaw worked. The scene she wanted was slipping through her fingers. A car door shut somewhere behind her. Footsteps, someone coughing. The ordinary sounds of people avoiding someone else's marriage. Lena tried another angle, softer, fast. Caleb, please, just help me fix this. Fix what? I asked. The part where you got caught or the part where you chose him? Tears flashed in her eyes. Real tears this time, but even those had a purpose. You loved me, she whispered. I did, I said. And you used it like a seatbelt. Her face hardened again. You're going to be sorry. I nodded once. Maybe, but not the way you mean. I walked around her and went inside. I didn't look back until the doors closed behind me and the glass cut her out of my world. When I checked my phone later, my bank app had sent an alert, a failed login attempt. Then another. Then another. Lena wasn't just fighting for her image now. She was trying to grab the steering wheel. I called the bank from my desk and changed every password, every security question, every recovery email. Then I called the card company and froze the joint credit line. Procedure, paperwork, quiet. That evening, she texted me. Why are my cards declining? I replied. Ask your date. No answer. At midnight, another message came through, this time from Megan. He's calling her. He's calling everyone. He's telling stories. Then a second. He just showed up again. He brought flowers like that fixes anything. Then, I put his suit collection on the driveway. Every hanger, every important man costume. He stood there and stared like he didn't recognize himself. I pictured Derek under a porch light, watching his life get boxed up. A minute later, Megan sent one last line. He's coming for you next. I can feel it. I stared at that message until the screen dimmed, and the quiet inside me tightened into something sharp. I didn't want a war. But Lena and Derek had already started one. All I'd done was stop pretending I wasn't in it. Lena finally came home the next day, but she didn't come alone. Not physically. She walked in by herself, carrying a tote bag like she'd been camping. But she brought Derek with her anyway, in the way she kept checking her phone, in the way her breath hitched every time a car passed outside. You look awful, I said. Don't, she replied, dropping the tote by the stairs. Just don't. Did you sleep at your friend's? I asked. She flinched at the word. Yes. I nodded. How many nights did you sleep at hotels before that? Her head snapped up. You've been digging. You handed me the shovel, I said. She paced, hands in her hair. Derek says he can fix it. He says HR is just covering themselves. He says he has friends. He had friends yesterday, I said. Where were they when security walked him out? Her voice rose. Stop acting like you're better than me. I didn't raise mine. I'm not better, I said. I'm awake. She stopped pacing and stared at the table like she expected it to give her advice. Then her phone buzzed, and she snatched it like it was oxygen. Her face changed as she read. What? I asked. She swallowed. He wants to meet. Derek, I said. She didn't deny it. Tell him no, I said. Her eyes snapped to mine. You don't tell me. I'm not telling you, I said. I'm warning you. He's not trying to fix you. He's trying to use you. Her laugh was small and bitter. He already did. That sounded like regret. For a heartbeat, it looked like regret too. Then she hardened again, because regret requires accountability. And Lena hated that word. I'm going to the fundraiser, she said suddenly, like she was changing the subject with force. They can't erase me. They can't act like I'm the problem if I show up smiling. They can, I said. They will. She stared at me. You want me to hide? I want you to stop, I said. She shook her head. I can't. If I stop, then I'm nothing. There it was. Not love, not passion, fear of being ordinary. The fork again. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. You think this is over? I didn't need a signature. Derek. Lena saw my face change. What is it? She asked. I showed her the screen, her lips parted. He wouldn't. He already did, I said. This is what you invited into our lives. She grabbed her phone and started typing fast. Don't, I said. She ignored me. I have to calm him down. You can't calm a man who thinks he owns the room, I said. You can only feed him. She hit send anyway. A minute later, her phone buzzed with a reply. Her face drained. What? I asked. She whispered, "He says you're going to pay." I watched her hands shake for the first time, not because she felt guilty, because she finally understood Derek wasn't a fantasy. He was a real man with real anger and real desperation. "You chose him," I said. Her eyes snapped up, wet and furious. "I chose what I deserved." I leaned forward. "No," I said. "You chose what you thought you could control." She backed away like my words were a shove. Outside, a car rolled past, slow, headlights crawling across the living room wall. Lena flinched. "You hear that?" she whispered. "It's just a car," I said, but we both knew it could be more. That night, I locked the doors and checked the windows like it was a habit. Lena slept in the guest room with her phone in her hand. I lay in our bed and stared at the ceiling, listening to the clock. Tick, tick, tick. I wasn't scared. I was focused. Because the moment Derek decided to threaten me, he made it personal in a way paperwork alone couldn't solve, and I knew exactly where to end it. The next morning, I did two things that didn't feel dramatic but changed everything. First, I emptied my desk at work of anything personal: photos, spare charger, the little souvenirs people keep to pretend a job is a life. If Derek decided to get cute, I wanted nothing he could touch that would matter. Second, I wrote down a timeline: dates, times, who called, what was said, where it happened, the note under my wiper, the unknown number, the alley location he'd named. It felt paranoid until I remembered the truth. Paranoia is what people call preparation when they don't like how ready you are. Around noon, Megan called instead of texting. "I need you to hear this," she said. Her voice was controlled, but the edges were jagged. "He's not just angry, he's rewriting history." "What do you mean?" I asked. "He's telling people you're obsessed," she said, "that you're harassing him, that you're trying to extort him. He told one of his friends you set him up." I almost laughed. I forwarded his emails. "I know," Megan said, "but he needs a story where he's the victim. Men like him can't breathe without one." I pictured Derek in some bar, leaning in close, selling his version with a practiced smile. Megan continued, "And Lena, she messaged him last night. I saw it pop up on his tablet before I wiped his accounts off my Wi-Fi." I held the phone tighter. "What did she say?" "She told him to stay calm," Megan said, and the contempt in her voice was sharp, like he's a dog she can pat, and he answered with one word: "Tonight." My stomach didn't drop. It steadied. "He's going to come for me," I said. "He's going to try," Megan replied, "and I'm telling you now because I won't be quiet anymore. If he shows up at your house, call the police. If he calls, don't argue. Save everything." "I'm already saving everything," I told her. There was a pause, then Megan's voice softened a fraction. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know your marriage was going to end like this when you warned me." "It was ending anyway," I replied. I just finally looked. When we hung up, I stood in my kitchen and stared at the counter where the fork had been. Ordinary life. Paper thin. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A text. "Service Alley, 10. No greeting, no threat this time. Just a command. I checked the time. 9:51 p.m. I didn't tell Lena where I was going. I didn't ask permission. I didn't announce it. I grabbed my keys and walked out. Because the moment you ask a liar for closure, you hand them the pen. And I was done letting other people write my ending. Before I started the engine, I looked up at the little camera on my porch. The red light blinked steady. Good. Let everything be seen. Let every move have a witness that doesn't forget, doesn't forgive, doesn't get tired of the truth. Then I drove. My hands were steady on the wheel, but my mind was loud, repeating one rule. Don't swing first. Document first. The how soon turned out to be the next day. I left my office late, after most people had gone home, and found a note tucked under my windshield wiper. No signature, no letterhead. Just a torn piece of paper with one line in blocky handwriting. Stop. My gut didn't flip. It settled. Threats don't scare you when you've already lived inside one. I drove to a busy strip mall and parked under a light. Then I called Megan. She answered on the first ring. "He's doing something," she said before I spoke. "I found a note," I told her. She exhaled, sharp. "He's spiraling. He came back again last night. I recorded the date and time, just in case I need it." "You're filing," I said. "Tomorrow," she replied. "And the company's legal team called me. They want a clean exit. Quiet." I almost laughed. Quiet. Like quiet fixes anything. After I hung up, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello?" Derek's voice, low. "You like paperwork?" he said. "Let's do paperwork." "Say what you want," I replied. "Meet me," he said. 5 minutes. Service alley behind the hotel on Grant Street. If you don't come, I'll make sure your wife knows exactly what you've been doing." I glanced at the time. My hands stayed steady. "You mean the truth?" I asked. He made a sound like a growl. "Don't get cute." I drove. The alley behind the hotel smelled like dumpsters and wet cardboard. A security camera hung above a door, blinking red. Good. I wanted it watching. Derek leaned against a wall near a black sedan. He looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. Rage makes men look younger in a bad way. "You came," he said. "I wanted the camera to see me," I said. His mouth twitched. "You think you're clever." "I think you're desperate," I replied. He stepped closer. Invading space like that was his favorite move. "You cost me my job." "You cost you your job," I said. "Your emails did that." He leaned in. "I can ruin you," he whispered. "I can tell people you're stalking, harassing, threatening." I didn't move. "Then do it," I said. "And watch what happens when your company asks for proof." He blinked. "You think they'll believe you?" "They'll believe records," I replied. "They always do." His hands flexed at his sides. I could see the moment he wanted to do something stupid and physical. He didn't. Instead, he smiled, quick and mean. "Your wife came to me," he said. "You know that?" A hook. Bait. I kept my face blank. "She'll go wherever you let her," I said. "She's trained to chase the shiny thing." His smile faltered. "She chose me." "She chose the role you gave her," I replied. "Don't confuse that with love." His jaw worked. "You think you're the hero." I shook my head. "I think I'm the guy who stopped pretending." He took a half step back, as if my calm made him unsure of his own threats. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "Megan files. HR files. Your board runs away from you like you're contagious. You can fight, but you're fighting paper with noise." His eyes narrowed. "And you?" "And me," I said. "I'm leaving my marriage." He laughed. "Finally. Took you long enough." "Not that long," I replied. "You just weren't watching." For the first time, he looked unsettled. Because control isn't about strength. It's about prediction. And he couldn't predict me anymore. A car rolled into the alley entrance, headlights sweeping. Someone's valet cart clattered nearby. Real life, intruding. Derek leaned close one last time. "You'll regret making enemies," he said. I met his eyes. "I didn't make you my enemy," I said. "You volunteered." Then I walked away, leaving him with the camera and the smell of trash. On the drive home, Lena called. I didn't answer. She texted. "Where are you?" I replied. "Working." She texted back. "Liar." I stared at that word and almost smiled. I'd been called worse. That night she wasn't in the guest room. Her side of the house was moving. Drawers, closets. She was preparing. And so was I. Lena waited for me in the kitchen the next day with a folder on the table, like she'd finally decided to play my game. Screenshots, printouts, my HR email, my message to Megan. the note under my wiper photographed like it was evidence against me. "You think you're untouchable," she said, "because you acted calm." "I acted real," I replied. She leaned forward. "I can paint you as unstable, as obsessive. I can say you threatened Derek." I looked at her. "Say it." Her eyes flashed. "You don't think anyone will believe me?" "I think the people who matter will ask for proof," I said, "and you don't have any." Her smile turned sharp. "You want proof? Fine." She shoved her phone toward me. A mirror selfie in a hotel room. Black dress. Derek's hand on her hip. The date stamp was 6 months old. My stomach dropped anyway. Not because I'd hoped she was innocent, but because I'd still been stupid enough to imagine the worst had a beginning I could point to. "It started when you stopped noticing me," she said, almost proud. "No," I said. "It started when you decided you deserved more than honesty." Her eyes narrowed. "You can't do anything now. HR doesn't care about your marriage." "I know," I replied. "That's why I'm not using HR anymore." She searched my face. "Then what?" I stood. "I'm filing." Her laugh cracked. "You're bluffing." I pulled my keys from the counter. "Watch me." She stepped into my path. "If you divorce me, I'll tell everyone you're abusive." "Then tell them," I said, "and watch what happens when I don't react the way you need me to." Her breath hitched. She hated that. She hated not being able to write my lines for me. I left. My lawyer's office smelled like carpet cleaner and old coffee. He didn't ask for feelings. He asked for dates, accounts, and what I could prove. I gave him everything. The email chain, the photo date stamp, Derek's threats, the fundraiser schedule. He nodded and slid papers toward me like he was handing me a rope out of a pit. By the time I walked out, it was dark, and something in me had changed. I wasn't trying to be fair anymore. Fair is what you ask for when both people still respect rules. I was trying to be final. When I got home, Lena was in the driveway, blocking my path like a car could stop a decision. "You went to him," she said. "My lawyer," I corrected. Her face tightened. "You can't do this." I looked at her, calm. "I can. I am." She stepped closer. "Derek will fix it." I almost laughed. "Derek can't fix his own marriage." Her eyes went wet with rage. "You're enjoying watching me fall." "No," I said. "I'm learning how far you were willing to push me." She stared at me like she wanted to hit me. Instead, she whispered, "I'll show up at the fundraiser. I'll smile. I'll prove I'm fine." I nodded once. "Do what you need to do." She mistook that for permission. It wasn't permission. It was a trap she'd already stepped into, and tomorrow night the lights were going to turn on. On the night of the fundraiser, Lena got dressed in that same black dress, like wearing it enough times could rewrite what it meant. "If I don't show, they'll think I'm guilty," she said. "You are guilty," I replied. She snapped her lipstick shut. "People don't care what's true. They care what looks true." I watched her in the mirror. "Then you should stand somewhere safe when the lights turn." Her eyes narrowed. "What did you do?" "I told the truth," I said. "That's all." She left. I put on my suit. Not to compete, to blend, to be the man who belongs in rooms where people lie politely. When I pulled out of the driveway, I saw her taillights ahead of me. Then I saw them slow. Then I saw her car drift, almost casual, toward my lane. She wasn't trying to hit me. She was trying to control me, to make me break, to make me hesitate, to make me feel small. I didn't. I slowed, changed streets, and drove toward the one place she wouldn't dare make a scene, a police station parking lot. I pulled in under bright lights and parked. A minute later, her car rolled in and stopped across from mine. She got out and walked fast, heels clicking like anger. "You think you're clever," she hissed, leaning into my window. "I'm careful," I said. She looked around at the cameras, the patrol cars, her jaw clenched. "You're scared." "I'm smart," I replied. She grabbed at my jacket sleeve through the open window. "Give me your phone." "No," I said. "Give me your phone," she repeated louder. "I know you've been texting Megan. I know you're planning something." "I already planned it," I said. "It's called consequences." Her eyes went wild. "If you embarrass me in there—" "You embarrassed you months ago," I replied. "You just didn't think anyone would look." She leaned closer, voice low and poisonous. "I can ruin you. I can say you're stalking me." I looked straight at her. "Then say it. I'll sit still and let you talk, and then we'll see which of us has a paper trail." She froze, like the word paper physically hurt her. For a second, she looked tired, almost human. Then it vanished. "You were supposed to stay quiet," she whispered. I nodded. "I know." That was the first honest thing she'd said all week. She stepped back, breathing hard, and pointed at the hotel skyline in the distance. "I'm going," she said, "and you're not stopping me." I rolled up my window. "I'm not stopping you," I said through the glass. "I'm watching." She stared at me a beat too long, then got back in her car and drove off. I waited 10 seconds, then followed, not close enough to look like pursuit. Close enough to be present when the lie finally collapsed. Because when someone builds their life on a story, the loudest sound in the world is the moment it cracks. The hotel lobby smelled like citrus cleaner and money. I nodded at the valet like I did this every week, and walked inside. At the bar, I ordered club soda. A man in a suit doesn't stand out at a hotel bar. He's part of the wallpaper. Megan arrived at 8:17 in a simple blue dress, posture perfect. "He's inside," she said, eyes steady. Desperate. He thinks he can smile his way back. "And Lena?" I asked. "Here," Megan said, fixing her hair like she isn't drowning. We entered separately. The ballroom glowed, white cloth, centerpieces, laughter that didn't mean anything, charity talk, network smiles, people pretending money makes them clean. Lena saw me and walked fast. "What are you doing here?" she hissed. "Attending," I said. "It's public." "You're going to embarrass me." "You embarrassed yourself," I replied. She grabbed my sleeve. "Leave." "Don't touch me," I said. Then her eyes slid past me. Derek stood near the stage, laughing too loudly, mask back on his face like it had never slipped. He looked tired, but he was trying to look important. Megan wasn't at his side. She was across the room speaking to board members like she belonged there more than he did. Derek saw her, his smile gone. Then, he saw me. For a split second, the man looked like a boy caught stealing. Lena whispered, "What did you do?" "I told the truth," I said, close to her ear. "Now it can walk without me." The host thanked donors. Applause rose and fell. Then Megan walked up to the stage and took the microphone before anyone could stop her. "My name is Megan," she said clearly, "and I believe in this cause. I also believe in honesty." The room quieted, the way a room does when it senses danger. "I'm Derek's wife," she said, "and my husband broke rules about power and silence." Derek moved toward the stage, hand out, voice pleading. Security intercepted him, 2 guards on his arms guiding him away while the chandeliers watched. It was the same walkout as the morning photo, only now it happened in front of everyone who'd ever praised him. Megan didn't shout. She didn't cry. She held printed pages in her hand and let the truth do what truth does, spread. The crowd turned, slowly, toward Lena in the black dress. She froze mid-step, realizing every eye in the room had found her. For a moment she looked like she might faint. Then she straightened her shoulders, lifted her chin, and tried to smile. That smile didn't hold. You can't smile your way out of gravity. I watched Derek disappear through a side door with security on his arms. I watched Megan step down from the stage, calm as a judge. And I watched my wife finally understand she didn't control the story anymore. Not in that room. Not anywhere. I left the ballroom while people were still whispering, In the lobby, my phone buzzed. My lawyer confirming the filing time for the next morning. The last appointment with this marriage. I drove home. The house was lit up. Every room. Like Lena had turned on the lights to scare away consequences. She met me on the porch, makeup smeared, eyes wild. "You planned that," she said. "I planned to stop lying," I replied. "Derek is losing everything," she snapped. "He says it's my fault." "That's what men like him do," I said. "They use you, then blame you for being used." She slapped my chest, not hard enough to hurt, just hard enough to pretend she still had power. "Say you're sorry." "No," I said. Her voice cracked. "You're going to leave me with nothing." "You left me with nothing first," I replied. She lifted her phone. "I'll call him. He'll fix this." Her phone buzzed before she could. An email from her company. Subject line: "Administrative leave, effective immediately." Her face went blank. She read it twice, like a second read would change the words. It didn't. She sank onto the steps. I reached into my jacket and handed her a folder. "What is that?" she whispered. "Divorce papers," I said. "Filed." Her eyes lifted, wet and furious. "Filed tonight?" "Tonight," I said, "while you were pretending a ballroom could save you." She shook her head, searching for a new angle, a new lie, a new bargain. None came. Inside the house, our wedding photo sat on the hallway table, smiling at me like it didn't know what we'd turned into. Lena's eyes followed mine. "You're not the man I married," she whispered. "No," I said. "He's gone." For a long moment, the only sound was the neighborhood, cars passing, a dog barking, the world refusing to pause for our disaster. Finally, she stood, slow, and went upstairs. Drawers opened, a suitcase scraped, clothing rustled. She came back down without looking at me. At the door, she stopped and turned her head just enough to spit one last threat. "You're going to regret this," she said. I opened the door and let cold air rush in. "I already regretted it," I said. "For years." She walked out into the night with her suitcase, black dress swallowed by dark. I closed the door. The lock clicked. The house went quiet, and the clock kept ticking, steady as my pulse, like it had finally switched sides.